On this day, the sun was not yellow, it was blue. People stopped their cars on the highway, their eyes glued to the sky. Children pointed from their classroom windows, confused and fascinated. Some thought the world was ending. Others thought it was a miracle. But this time, it wasn't just a local phenomenon or a trick of the light. This time, everyone saw it. It all began like any other ordinary day in September 1950. There were no warnings from scientists, no prophecies from ancient texts. There was no eclipse scheduled, no strange weather patterns predicted. It was just a normal Tuesday morning. People woke up, had their breakfast, and headed out for the day. But then, as the morning progressed, reports started trickling in. Someone looked up and noticed something was wrong. The sun, our familiar golden star, was a deep, mesmerizing blue. It wasn't a reflection in a window or an optical illusion caused by looking too long. The sun itself had changed color. And as if that wasn't strange enough, when the moon rose that night, witnesses swore it was bathed in a ghostly purple light. This wasn't an event confined to a single town or city. This was a mass witness event on an international scale. Reports flooded in from across the United States, from Maine to Montana. The phenomenon was seen all over Canada, from the Atlantic to the Pacific coasts, and it didn't stop there. People across parts of Europe, especially in Great Britain, looked up at the same bizarre blue sun. This wasn't hearsay or folklore. Newspapers from the era documented the event with bold headlines. Scientists at observatories aimed their telescopes at the sky and confirmed what everyone was seeing. The star at the center of our solar system was, for all intents and purposes, blue. This wasn't a case of mass imagination. It was a documented, widespread reality. As you can imagine, panic and confusion swept across continents. In an age without the internet or instant global communication, information was scarce and often conflicting. Phone lines were jammed with people calling authorities, news stations, and loved ones. In churches and homes, people gathered to pray, believing it was a divine sign or a harbinger of the apocalypse. Others, fearing the unknown, hid indoors, drawing their curtains and locking their doors, afraid of what this celestial change might bring. Was it a bizarre cosmic event from deep space? The side effect of a secret nuclear experiment? Or was it, as many feared, a sign that the end was near? Nobody had any real answers, and that uncertainty was perhaps the most frightening part of all. Eventually, as the dust settled and the scientific community had time to analyze the data, a theory began to emerge. The leading explanation pointed to a series of massive forest fires that had been raging in Alberta, Canada. These weren't ordinary fires. They were immense, spewing colossal plumes of smoke and ash high into the atmosphere. The theory was that microscopic oil droplets from the burning pine trees, all of a very specific, uniform size, drifted across the globe. These particles were just the right size to scatter the longer wavelengths of light, like red and yellow, allowing only the shorter blue and green wavelengths to pass through. It was a plausible, scientific explanation for an otherworldly event, but there's a problem with this explanation. Science could explain the how, the physics of light scattering through particles, but it couldn't explain the why. Why did it happen so perfectly on such a massive scale? And this is where the story gets even more unsettling. This effect, this perfect storm of conditions, has never been replicated or observed again on the same global scale. Think about it. We live in an age of advanced technology, with satellites monitoring every inch of our planet, with sensors that can detect the slightest atmospheric changes. We have more and larger forest fires now than ever before. Yet the sun has never turned blue for millions of people like it did on that day. Even scientists who stand by the fire explanation admit a crucial detail. They cannot recreate the exact conditions in a lab. The sheer perfection and scale of the event remain a statistical anomaly, a 1 in a billion occurrence that just happened to unfold for everyone to see. So it makes you wonder, and it leaves us with a final, lingering question. If the sky, the most constant and predictable thing in our lives, can fundamentally change its color, without warning and without repeating itself, what else might we be missing? What other cosmic secrets are unfolding right above our heads, just beyond our perception? That day in 1950 eventually passed. The atmospheric particles dispersed and the sun returned to its familiar yellow hue. Life, for the most part, went on. People went back to work, newspapers moved on to the next story, and the blue sun became a strange footnote in history. But for those who saw it, for those who lived through that day, the sky never looked quite the same again. Because once you've seen the impossible with your own two eyes, you carry a new kind of awareness. You know that the universe isn't as predictable as we think. And it probably isn't done surprising us just yet. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, consider subscribing for more journeys into the unknown.